All right. So, this is the book that we are reading. Yes.
Here's mine.
Yes.
My copy. On her reading and her finding.
Yes. So, okay, what I loved about the book, like, this is a classic, storyline. You've got the hero, you've got the villain. I mean, it's always a hit, That's why we like both Spider-Man and those kind of things, right? So the storyline, obviously already ticks or it's going to be. But, okay, so this is a fiction. It speaks about like the initiation, right? So as a person who has initiated, there's a lot that I can still learn from this book, because the way the author writes the book, like you are invited into this world of initiation. You are going through Mandla, which is the hero, you are going through his journey, and then he balances the fiction, like the fantasy world, as well as the lessons that you can learn, like the principles of life, that you can learn from, like about the journey of being a Sangoma and the initiation, right? What else can I say? There's a lot of things that I found interesting, on page 75. I liked where it's written, the ancestors stand on a mountain looking down at the river of past, present, and future. The souls of men flounder in that river, swept along from birth to death in the current of time. The ancestors cannot stop the flow of the river, but we can help the floundering souls to swim, right? So for me, I thought that was a good point that this person points out, because now if you were not clear about the work of the ancestors, right, and how far their power goes, at least now you have an idea that they cannot control everything, but when you do invite them in your life, then they can help you to navigate life much better, right? But there's things that obviously they cannot shield you from, but you have to go through it. But when they are with you, you can swim, right? Instead of drowning, you can swim. So that's one of the things that I liked. And then there's like a lot of this book, they speak about the character or the purity of heart of the Sangoma, right? So you realize as you read the book that that's the emphasis of the hero, like the person who's initiating, for you to come to conquer the challenges that are going to be in your way. Then your purity of heart is very important, right? And then there's this part. So okay. Another thing that I have picked up when it comes to the initiation journey, it is like your healing. Your healing is very important, and you have to be aware of your triggers, your wounds, because they can be used against you. There's a point if I can find it quickly in the book, where the hero Mandla, which is the person that we are reading about, he loses his gift, right? And then so this is page 148, and it says, you have lost the precious gift that Nkosatana gave you, right? The old lady shook her head. 1,000 thoughts ran through Mandla's head, but eventually he had to accept the terrible truth. His pride and overconfidence had caused him to ignore grandmother's warning, and he had fallen into Mfeti's trap, right? So Mfeti, which is the villain, had used Mandla's desires, his deep desires. I don't want to spoil the book for you, obviously. So Mandla's deep desires against him, and then Mandla fell for that, if he didn't use any other point to make Mandla do what he was not supposed to do, Mandla would have been much wiser, right? So Mandla, because he was caught up in his feelings and his desires, then the villain was able to get to him and steal his gift. And his grandmother was as much as you can be gifted and believe a lot of things about you, there's always people around you that will guide you, so that you don't fall, so that you use your gifts properly, and you shouldn't ever be overconfident when your elders are speaking to you. Thokozani.
Thank you. You're sharing the lessons that you derived from this book.
Thokoza.
Because that actually is mainly for Bantu Bagamoya. For Bantu Bagamoya, I also found, and I think that's why I actually recommended it. I think I will recommend it to initiates also.
Yes.
Because one, you're not just instilling reading as reading is the people that we don't read now.
Yeah.
So people need, because it's not just this book. The things that we need to know are sitting in books and spaces, and they're not just in paragraphs and what. And if we can only read 3 paragraphs and that is it, then we're not going to learn much. But they're going through it, and also being able to take a story, a fiction story. I think for me that is actually the key thing, because we need to be able to balance fiction and non-fiction. And when we find a fictitious story, you also want to be able to see what it, because when we write fiction, is not just about, yes, it means that this is not a true story, but it does not mean that the things contained in the story are not true. Yeah, so it may not be a true story, but there are lessons, because this is yes. Actually, Mandla is fiction.
Yeah.
And my suspicion is that because it's also based on a real place and real events, Maskuluma Ngwala, real ceremonies, and Maskuluma, it shows that you can actually write about anything, or you also can learn from. To hide things, we want to say things are fiction.
Yes.
And that is what got our author into trouble, because he wrote about things that actually happen, real events, and but he tried to changed the names and so that he sells it as fiction.
Yeah.
But you get to learn real things about the ceremonies, the things that happen. If you follow it, and we are able to follow it, and we know, okay,
This is true.
yes.
Yes.
And I found that I learned a lot from the book itself. Things about Lusegwane, things that I thought I knew. There's things that you actually don't know until unless you participate.
Yeah.
And this man had intel from inside,
yeah.
So which is actually beautiful.
Yeah.
So I get to be exposed to things that I would not have gotten from the book. And he tells it as a story of the young boy who has been wanting to be a part of Lusegwane. He's looked at others going through it as a cool, like, oh, my turn will come. When I get to this age, I will also be able to get there. But how then that ceremony links to the Ngwala, which is a ceremony that holds the nation together, the Swazi nation together. That is huge, because then you see how this one transitions into the biggest ceremony in the country, and how it speaks about how also the king goes into isolation, and then it speaks about the role of the healer. For me, I think that was the most important thing, the role of the healer. That yes, we can have all of these ceremonies. The ceremonies happen, and but there's key figures in there that we may not even be aware of, that only a few people are aware of. This is what the core of this work needs to happen, but we need to have this kind of person here and this kind of person here, and people that are actually making sure that it actually happens. So that is what I found from the book. And then also just basic lessons about Bungoma.
Yeah.
Basic lessons about Bungoma, which is what you've actually touched on. You've spoken about the heart, and also just not having things run away with you, thinking that, oh, I'm so special. And because at the end of the day, it really is not about us. It teaches also about how we rely on our spirit guides, and also just how there's a part where he is walking to find a heart that he was shown in a dream, where he's going to find his muti bag. that speaks to the journeys that this is a journey. It's not all the things are going to be handed to you. Actually, very little is handed to you. You actually get up. He has his grandmother there who is his Kobela. But he needs to do his work. The work needs to be done by him. And that is what I have found, that we sit back and we think that our Kobela will do the magic or will make the magic. And Kobela facilitates and points the direction, and alalele ukuthi this is what actually needs to happen. But at the end of the day, it's going to be done by you.
Yeah.
So that is the most brilliant thing that I learned from it. And this is a young boy. This is a very young boy. He was called very early. And that is what it also spoke to me about the calling, at the different ages that the calling comes. And also that, and he's amongst other sangomas, but we do not want to be fighting about Amanda Sangoma, which are more powerful than who was the villain in the Mfet? Not
Stumo, yes.
You know, we don't want to be fighting about I'm more powerful.
Yes.
Your gift or the mandla, his name is also Mandla.
Yes.
But, which I thought to me was actually quite interesting. That the strength that we have to do the work is proportionate to the task at hand or the task that you have been given.
Yeah.
So if this, and it speaks then to not just our gifts, our abilities, the natural gifts that are not, we may not even view as spiritual. When what I am given is proportionate to the work that I'm supposed to do. So I cannot be wanting a mandla ako.
Yeah.
And all I'm called to be is a teacher, and you are called to be a wound healer, you are called to be a midwife to bring people in here. So we obviously, even that it may not be more power, but it is different levels of it. You have more power if you're a midwife.
Yes.
Than me, who is a teacher in that space.
Yes.
Even me, I can't come in and
yes.
In that space, I can only assist you and take your direction. You know. Thank you so much.
Also, you can't be all, because when do you have time to specialize? You know. Yeah. So I'd rather be good at that one thing than try to be all. Yeah.
But there's so much mysticism in this book. It is crazy. And just learning about the lightning bed, it's things that you, things that we live with, things that we see.
Yeah.
But this book brings it to life.
Yes.
Like, oh, okay. So this is actually how this bed operates, and this is the relationship between thunder, lightning, and what happens in it. But actually, there's a point where I was reading that and I was thinking of my grandmother, my great-grandmother, paternal great-grandmother, who was married to a Kobela, who she didn't Ntwaso, but she ran the home and the Ntwasas, and she healed wombs, and she healed production things for fertility stuff for both men and women. And it just brought me to her because she used to carry a walking stick, and that walking stick, she would tell me that it's not just your walking stick is not just any whatever style. This one will protect you from lightning. So this is where you place this place it mongenendlini. So magnel tulu I ibala. You know, so that whole, so if you are reading the book and you've gone through initiation also, there'll be also things that it takes you to, and it will answer some questions that sometimes you didn't even know that you had, you know, so that is what it did for me. Thank you. I don't want to be long enough.
It's been long.
Baba, I want to ask, you know, I think there's a good point as well, where they say the fear of witchcraft causes even brave men to lose their wits, right? So how far do you go fearing witchcraft, like maybe acknowledging it? Because if there is witchcraft, you need to do something about it, and it possessing you to a point where you're, like the fear of witchcraft possessing you to a point where you make mistakes. Like what's the balance between that?
What do you mean that you make mistakes?
Like, you know, when you are very fearful of something, like that fear controls you, and then you are not your decisions become like they don't help you because you are just so fearful, you know, something that you could have done much better when you were calm. Now because you are fearful, you make mistakes.
Okay, and you are thinking, you are fearful because multi-witchcraft, you're speaking, you think that you've been
Bewitched.
bewitched.
Yes, yes.
Okay. An interesting question. Does anyone want to give it a shot, guys?
Baba Zan is sleeping.
No, I'm here.
Do you mind being in my vlog?
No, I don't mind.
Okay.
I don't mind.
Do you have anyone there, guys, who's interested in answering Gogo's question? You know what?
No, they're here.
Interesting question, but I do not have an answer.
Okay, good. I also do not have an answer. But what I can say about the fear of witchcraft is that it's one thing that has been so instilled in us. What we are scared of is things that we cannot explain, things that are beyond our minds, because we operate on a mind level that we are unable to, we are not able to fit spirit into the space, because spirit is it stands there on its own, and our minds are informed by all the things that we have heard, all the things that we have read, all the things that we have come across and engaged with. And a lot of the things that we have engaged with esoteric stuff is just cannot be explained. It's things that we cannot explain.
Yeah.
So our minds want to make sense of things, and fear it comes from the mind.
Yeah.
It comes from the mind. The fear that comes, that is not about things that we think of, would be a fear that, and I don't even think that we would call it fear, but it would be where you actually feel, suddenly you feel that there's something not quite right.
Yes.
And that is the body warning you that, okay, there's a problem. Because our bodies will actually warn us if we actually take the time to listen. But the things that come with the mind, the fear that comes from the mind, is normally about what has been fed into the mind. It's, memories, you remember things that you've read, experiences, and so if Kulma go to you're fearful of witchcraft, what would it be specifically? What I've experienced is someone passed there and they got to Mkwepo and their feet and their legs, they ended up being amputated and wow. So now that thing has set in your mind and you are looking out for things, similar things.
Yeah.
So that is what you would be scared of. But witchcraft as a thing, even the word itself, witchcraft was initially it was just alchemy and being specific people being able to influence
Events.
elements.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So also I would understand being scared of that Maumuntu, because if you have not been exposed to it and you have no understanding of spirit. But ours really has been religion influenced. Because if it's not just a plain fear, okay, I remember, like Gogo says, it's memories or it's something that I've experienced. Lana, we are just remembering things that we have been told by people who's also been scared.
Yeah.
So fear will drive fear, you know. And also Maukulmange witchcraft also, then we also look at that, you are speaking of Masisi witchcraft. What are we speaking of? Are we speaking of people being able to influence the elements? Are we speaking to alchemy, people able to, or are we just speaking about demons and you know, because we can break down the witchcraft itself.
Yes. But it's what you do with it. It's a craft.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do with that craft or your knowledge
And
that you
how
have?
do you translate it?
How do you
Also,
translate
how do you
it?
interpret? So a lot of it is really just about perception.
Yeah.
Because it all about the fact that, you know, growing up, I would also look at these people walking, not even necessarily, even the people that on the sides of the road now, they have made churches outside, and now there is a temple. They've painted a temple there. You see people wearing these long things and they are walking. I think, why is wrong with people? Why do they not want to be modern?
Yeah.
Modernity, what is wrong? Why are they like that?
Yeah.
Why do they want to remain emva?
Yeah. Yes.
And look at us now.
Yeah.
Now it's us going to the rivers, and it hit me yesterday. It hit me very hard that I'm here now. I'm at the river, and standing at the top of the bridge and watching the people. I would be thinking,
There's no need.
there's no need. Can they not just get on with their life?
Yes. Yeah.
Why do they feel the need to actually do that? And
That's
that is
what.
a whole
Yes.
perception. It is, and now I am here, and now I see it from a different angle because now my life has evolved and it has actually gotten me there. And now these people now are seeing I'm now that thing that I never thought I would be.
Yes.
And now
Yeah.
people are looking at me and thinking, what is wrong with her?
Yes. Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
going on?
But I think, speaking of the river situation that you are speaking about, the way in which the way in which we do things as healers, we leave razors, we leave bottles. It speaks to the fact that, like, you really can do without. You can clean up those things. It does not mean now because, you are not leaving it behind. Sinyama how is gonna, Yeah, I guess that's what they mean when they say, you lose your weight. Because generally, to pick up after yourself, Yeah, so it's those kind of things that fear does induce. Or no, if I leave this chicken here, like, sinyama saka sidula ganamo, Yeah, then when you clean up, or if you take it with you, then it follows you. Yeah.
Believe that.
They do.
Why do they leave them there?
Yeah, why would they?
I actually never even thought of that, but I understand.
You see,
Pick up your cotton, the ABC. You think you're
Yeah.
you taking,
But I'm also, for me, it's also the people that just also the people are scared to clean those things. When we get there, you can see what's okay, we need to just clean up our space where we're actually going to work and just remove stuff. But there is a fear, okay, now I have to touch this thing. I don't know what these people were doing.
Yeah.
I don't know why they actually left it there. So now I'm going to be touching it. And then we do river cleanup campaigns
And it's tricky, Shem. River cleanups, there's some things where we're like, oh,
Yeah.
can I touch
Yes, yes. What if it comes to you? Yeah.
I actually get that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, no, it's embarrassing. It's
And then we're
embarrassing.
using our sticks to move things. But also because it's disgusting.
Yes,
It's
yes.
just disgusting stuff.
Yeah, because there is no need. If you understood the principles behind the ritual that you are doing, you can substitute some things so that you don't have to leave the river or the natural spaces looking so disgusting. Yeah.
And we leave it disgusting. Because
Yeah.
men's disgusting. It's actually sad.
Yeah.
Men, that's disgusting.
Yeah. Togoza.
How did you find the book, Naledi? Have you finished it?
Not yet, I'm not done. I'm still busy.
Yeah.
I think also people got it late. And also people are still struggling to get back into reading.
Yes.
But this is so easy. Till I started.
Fiction is the easiest.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't have FOMO, man.
You didn't read it. You must have FOMO.
Pregnancy has been doing me a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's been doing me a lot of things, but I am looking forward to just hearing the sharing, because I didn't even know. I just knew it's about a healer's journey, but yeah, I don't know, because what I wanted to ask was somebody to actually just like tell me what it's about, and I think I was just expecting to embed the session relatively. Okay, what's this book about?
Yeah.
How is it like shifting your perspective? Or what are the like insights and the things that are interesting?
You should actually read it because it actually even speaks about Unkulunkulu then gets fed up and gives the earth to his daughter,
Mm.
who's called
That's a long time,
Nkosatana.
guys. So it's like a good thing for me to get into the space again. But that's good. Yeah, it is. And the main line is back. Yay.
Oh my god.
They've
I
been
didn't realize. How long have we been out?
4 minutes or so. A few minutes.
Few minutes.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, great. Yeah, so please continue. Were you okay? Because what I was asking was for someone to also just like share their experience of the book, how it may have shifted their perspective, some of their insights. And I'd asked Naledi initially, who's still busy with the book.
Really? So she can share.
So far, I'll end where I am at. For me, it just switched on the whole magical part of Ukuba Isangoma, right? And how things just happen, Jay. But they don't happen, Jay, because like Umandla, initially he wanted to be Sangoma, but he didn't know he had the gift, right? And then I don't know if maybe it's him channeling that energy or maybe he was interested in it because it was within him, and then it availed itself. So my thing is the party I can Ustumo. Ustumo is like his
Arch nemesis.
yeah. Right?
Mm.
And I think we all have that in our lives. We always have that one thing that will challenge what we have or what we are going through to see if we can actually conquer that particular situation that we are in. And because if we go into it, Ustumo doesn't even know Nae what he's doing. Just enjoy as he wants some kind of power. Whether it's good or bad, he just wants power. And he got derailed because Ushuti, he was spiritually weak. I don't know, because he was under the guidance of Gogo, but still, the Kobela, Gogo Gamandla couldn't tame him. This is not the way, this is the right way. So that's my thing about Umandla and his journey. Ustumo Abe in that same space as him. It was for him to sort of like show him in his journey, and you might have to overcome them all the time. Even when he was going on his journey to get the muti bag, you could see with the Koko, you could tell what she knew he was going to be an obstacle, this Dumo guy. But she let him go with him anyways, so that he can overcome that obstacle and he won. Shame. So I don't know if Ustumo is a thing that's necessary for all of us in our journey. They have to be there in order for us to see our power. I don't know.
Exposure therapy.
Yeah.
Not unnecessary. That's where I am. I don't know how the story goes. But it's a party to say. The way I sing this Dumo guy, it's not for no reason. It's to strengthen in his journey.
And a lot of the time when our challenges show up as people, they show up from in relationships.
Yeah.
They show up because that's the one thing that shows that and everybody has an agenda. And also we say we grow through hardship, and a lot of our hardships come through people.
Yeah.
Yes, you may struggle with okay, I'm looking for shelter is a big thing. I'm struggling because I don't have a job, and wow. But the biggest struggles and our biggest challenges come from people, and that is how we're going to learn ourselves. So maybe challenge yes, but even to get to where he's supposed to get to where, let's speak about the bag for instance. There's challenges. Now he has to find people and be in a stick fight. There's people now, there's boys, and you just constantly have to to win.
Overcome something.
Yes, you
Yeah.
constantly, and the one thing that we fail to recognize as a people is that we've been fighting since we got here.
Yes.
We fought in the stomach to stay. We fought to get into the world. Childbirth is just being birthed is not easy, and we've just been fighting, you know, and we forget that, you know, I'm actually strong. All the challenges that I have met along the way, for me to be here now is because I've actually conquered and won all of those things, you know. And that's the one thing that we actually need to stop as a people and appreciate that I actually I've got this. I've got this.
Yeah.
I've got whatever it is that is required for me to live this life and win at this life thing. I've got it. And winning at this life thing is not driving a big car, being in a big
Yes,
house.
yeah.
No. Because that is what we have put it down to when it's so much bigger. All of these material things are just things that are here to disrupt, to get into the way, you know. But it's also things that make us I think it's about fitting in, and it's also things that make us comfortable.
Yeah.
Because comfort is a part of what we want, is the body wants comfort, you know. But spirit doesn't need it. The spirit doesn't need it. Spirit wants to.
You are saying it like that. That's why I'm saying, if you even put it simpler, multi-spirit doesn't need comfort, because
Yeah.
I mean, what's the need of all these struggles? You know, push would be honest, like in order to appreciate what you have, like in order for us to appreciate how he got the multi bag, he will remember that baboon and how he had to fight in order for him to appreciate what he got. If he hadn't nicely, he probably wouldn't even have fought that snake that he found when he went to find the cattle, you know.
And he
So,
wouldn't appreciate
he
it the
wouldn't
same way.
appreciate it,
Because
even
I
as
went and
well.
just got the bag.
Yeah.
So Bushuti, it's necessary. It's necessary. And these
Yeah.
witchcraft.
But you know, I like the fact that you actually shone the light on Stumone, because we are so focused on the Mandla. But now what about Stumo? Because now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, you know, people other than us, Disangomane, other people, they tend to think or like when you Ntwaso, it's evil, right? But like we said, magic can be either good or bad, right? But if you look at Stumo, you realize that him being in that initiation space and having access to knowledge, right? The things that we are taught, it revealed him, right? It revealed like his wounds, you know, his desires, right? And that's how he acted upon them, right? So it's not that when you Ntwaso your life, you become such a horrible person. Like if a person Ntwasos and they are a witch, in this case, when we say witch, like mtagat, moloi, you know, if you become an evil person, it's not because you Ntwaso, it's because of your heart, right? The kind of person that you are. The very same way, if you are given money, then we know the kind of person that you are by how you use money, right? And I like on page 96, right, where the grandmother is talking to Mandla, right, about the spirit that influences Stumo, right? And then the grandmother shook her head slowly from side to side, and she said, okay, so Mandla was asking what made Mfeti do such a wicked thing. So you must read the book to know what he did. Ne? So grandmother shook her head slowly from the side to side. Jealousy and the desire for glory. He hated your father for his goodness, for his strength and nobility, for being a respected Sangoma. He was bewitched by jealousy and he hated him for refusing to teach him the art of Sangoma. Grandmother smiled slightly. He wanted to be your father. He wanted to get inside his skin, but a snake in a leopard skin is still a snake. So we can see here that the character, we go back to the character of a person who possesses like the gift, you know, who possesses esoteric knowledge, that the way you use it is what is in your heart. So this person, you can see that he was not willing to work for he wanted to steal from others, right? He was not willing to, maybe he has his own gifts, but he was not willing to work at his things, his strengths. He was looking to take from someone, to steal from someone, because I think that Mfeti had gifts. The way he could steal, the way he could bewitch other people, he had his own gifts, but he was not satisfied to develop his own things. He wanted to steal from somebody who had already built himself. So, yeah.
Maybe also going back to your question about fearing witchcraft. Maybe that is actually what that is about, is also being able to understand that people are good and bad, and some the bad dominates and some the good dominates, or is the one that is dominant, and actually understanding that, and being able to, when you get into a space and this person is really just has not been good to you, or is not good to you, you're able to just to understand it for what it is, and move away from the space. Just understanding that people are just, don't blindly be in a space. This person is just not for me. And also that is also a gift. Fearing witchcraft, that is also a gift. Like you say, Mfeti is gifted, and he's gifted to steal, he's gifted to kill, he's gifted to take what he wants, but that is a gift for him. So that then takes us to that part of witchcraft where we understand that witchcraft is not like everything else. It's not just pure evil, it's not pure goodness also. It is what it is about, it's the person that actually holds it. What have you been gifted? And what do you want to highlight of your gift? If you have a gift of making things happen, you can choose to make bad things happen, or good things happen.
Yes, yeah.
You choose how you want to affect others' lives. You choose how to. It's like owning a pet. People will buy dogs and they mistreat them.
Yeah.
But they went and got the dog and brought it to their home so that they can just, for their own reasons that we don't understand. And now you have a dog that is tied there, and that's all we see. This person's dog is, because that it can't be nice. This dog is always tied, it sits there, and then what was that about? So you look at the dog's life, it's just been to come and be tied and be there, to serve something in you. Whatever it is that it is serving in this person. And that, when you're looking at it from my perspective, that is pure evil. Why would you want to do that? You could have left the dog for somebody else to buy, and they would give it a better home. And so it goes back to that. What are you gift? What is this gift? What am I going to do with the gift?
But do
And I,
Gogo.
sorry. I just wanted to say, on the point of Mfeti and Ustumo, when you're dealing with Mfeti, you can either be a Manda or a Stumo, because I see them, as much as they are characters, but they are also decisions that you can be when you're facing someone like that. Because I feel like they both encounter the same darkness. They are both exposed to the same kind of power. They're in the same pace, so they have the same kovela. They are both gifted. They are both vulnerable, but then it's the way in which they respond to Mfeti, because Mfeti saw an opportunity with both of them. With Stumo, I see him as a bit of a victim in the story as well, because he had desires. He had desires. He was ambitious. He wanted to be powerful. He wanted to be a powerful Sangoma. That in itself is not evil. That's not an evil desire. It's a human desire. But Mfeti plays on that, because he then digs into the wounds that Stumo carries. And those wounds then lead Stumo to the decisions that he made, where he kept on giving himself over to this witch, surrendering pieces of himself bit by bit, because he thinks maybe this person can give me what I want, right? But with Mandla, he also meets the same kind of evil, he meets the same kind of power, but then he is able to be sound to the lessons that are being taught to him rather than responding to the wounds. Because in fact, with he's a snake. A snake is very soft with the tongue, and they're able to sweet talk everything, right? But he is not tempted to rush ahead. He's able to listen and be pulled back. And that's sort of the difference between the two. One was willing to surrender himself to everything, what he hears and what he sees, while the other is able to stop and be taught and be sound to the lessons that he is given. So you can be either or, depending on your response. You can easily be a Stumo, or you can easily be a Mandla.
Thokoza. Yeah.
That's thank you, Gogo Thokoza. It also speaks to what it is that Maubuga Stumo, because we speak about Stumo also being gifted, we speak about Mandla being gifted, and then you look at Stumo being impatient. What he wants is to have power, and he really doesn't care how he gets that power. He just wants to be powerful, and we spoke about Mandla, who also was wanting, he had that interest. We would say, okay, and it's possible that interest was sparked by the gift itself. We would say, this is what you are, this is who you are, and this is what your mission is. But what Mandla then does, Mandla is willing to learn, like you point out, is willing to learn. Stumo does not want to learn. Stumo has no patience. He wants the power to come however way it comes also. And that is why he falls, is easy prey for Bantu Labanjenga Bomfeti. And that also speaks to how, if we are not going to wait for things to happen also organically, we are going to die trying to get things that were not given to us, or things that is not maybe the time for us to actually be receiving. You know, so it points out again how important it is for us to be, or for people, not just Bungom, just to take your lessons, take your L, and sit through and experience that whatever it is that you are experiencing, and be able to get from it. Because then even the speed at which things come at us is not the same. Because our journeys are not the same. Not just our Goma journeys, just our life journeys are not the same. You know? And each time we skip something, each time we go off and we acquire things wrongly, we have not really acquired the lesson. So we've maybe holding now the gift of whatever in my hand, but I've not acquired it. So each time I open my hand, it flies out because it's not mine. I can only keep it in a certain way. But if I can open my hands, and this thing has been, what do you call it? It's embodied. It is mine. No one can take it from me. In the same way that this story is actually quite deep. Thokozani Mogogo next. Is there anyone needing to share?
I think let me just sum up my whole my takeaway from this book while I'm still here. I think for me, the main theme or my biggest takeaway was what Ntwaso said when Mother met him. He said, the first spiritual combat you must undertake is to overcome your own self.
Yay!
And I feel like that was for me in the book. That was the theme, the reoccurring theme. There's so many times where Umandla had to overcome his own self. There's so many times where he had to die to self. You have to agree to die. And from those ashes, like a phoenix, there's a version of yourself that has improved, that has grown, that has learned, that's going to emerge. And I think that's what we kept on seeing, where Umandla kept on having to overcome so many things or so many parts of himself. In the book, for instance, when he was searching for the bag, he had to overcome impatience. He thought there's the Ndumba, there's the old woman going in, looking for a compartment or something. He's looking around, and I'm just going to find the bag and get out, But he had to sit down, be quiet, and try and listen until he heard the song. So his impatience had to stop, and he had to surrender to the moment. And that's when things started unfolding, and he was able to be led to the bag when he overcame his own impatience. And I think another example of this could be when he was trying to catch the bird of heaven. He wanted to control everything. He was chasing, he was grabbing, he was reaching and all of that, and none of it worked because the bird kept on escaping until he eventually had to learn to stop trying to possess it. He had to learn to just stop trying so hard and surrender to the moment. And then only was he able to catch it once he had surrendered, because the sacred things cannot be controlled. You have to just surrender to them. So, yeah. And then over and over, we see him having to overcome fear. He had to overcome fear from Elisho, Liliana in the cave with Ustumo, and when he had to be confronted in the confronted by the Imfagabil. I hope I'm saying that properly. Yeah. But all the time, he had to just be overcoming his own fear, all of that. So he had to overcome, I think also I noted here, he had to overcome anger when he learned about the fate that his father had suffered, Ungwe Mabala. He wanted justice, he wanted action, but he again had to overcome that part of him. So over and over, I see it as a reoccurring theme that he had to overcome his own self in order to transcend, in order to grow. And yeah, I think that's my biggest takeaway from the book. There's so many times that you have to overcome yourself in order for you to emerge the version that you have to be, in order for you to emerge as the person that you have to be. And also you see that with a lot of the things that were happening, it's not that his moments or his gifts or anything that had to be bestowed on him was being withheld because it wasn't there or it was unavailable. It was being withheld because he had to become the person worthy to carry it. Be this the muti bag, be this the bird of heaven. It was withheld until he became the person who was worthy to carry it. So yeah, I loved the book. I loved it. I see myself reading it again with fresh eyes. I think my takeaway is going to be different. This was my first read of it, so I think when I read it again, my takeaway will definitely be different. But yeah, I loved it.
Thokozile Gogo, thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you for highlighting the having to overcome himself as well, because that's the biggest one. We go through so much. It's just fighting and fighting, but it's really is the person or the thing that we fight more than anything is us. The thing that we need to overcome is us. So we are able to overcome the things that we find as challenges. And that's a big lesson actually for Bantu Bagamoya. The whole thing is about overcoming self. Thank you, Gogo, for pointing it out. From Jaguvuma Gufa, just in Vuma Gufa, it really is about it's okay. It's in the mind.
Yeah.
And a lot of people come ngekuvuma in the mind, it's okay, fine, ngiyavuma. And you have no idea of how it actually is. It's going to be totally consuming. It's about you, and it's going to change you. Ilwa nawe. And unless you overcome yourself, you're not even able to understand what it is that Petro is about, what it was about, and you come out with all sorts of things that you don't like. Who Banbani was in my way, Mazama Geza, Banbani, the shower was always long. If those are things about you, it's not about that person. I think it's about bringing it back, bringing the spotlight back to yourself, and how you actually react to all of those things that you, okay, not minor, because the things are just mammoth. When you are looking at them, it's a big thing. So that it takes you away from looking at yourself. So you look at all of these things instead of yourself. And thank you, Gogo, for pointing it out. So I was able to actually overcome that. That person was a problem, a patient or whatever, but I did my thing and I finished my patient in spite of that person. But it was in spite of yourself. Thank you so much, Gogo. Thank you so much.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Thank you, Gogo.
Thank you.
I also will read it again. I think I will read it again because it's been a thing for me. Let's have maybe some Gelisi will also contribute, and then Ulerato. So then we will close.
Oh, thank you, Thomas Akoko. Thank you so much. So a lot, to be honest, has been covered. But I think for me, I just also wanted to share that when I finished reading the book, initially I was a bit unimpressed. I'm just being honest. I was a bit unimpressed with the ending, and I realized that I had built my own ending before I got to it as to how the story would end and how the author would tie up the story of Umandla and the various relations around him and all the characters who contributed to his journey. And so when it ended in the way it did, I was like, oh, this is not coming full circle. And then I reflected a bit a couple of days after reading it, because a book simmers in. I don't know if that's everyone's experience, but you read a book and it kind of simmers in because you probably have been reading it for days or for weeks, and so it becomes a part of your routine. And so as soon as you're done, it's not just done, it still lingers on, and you still have those nuggets that pop up in your mind. So as I was going through that, I realized that no, man, my slight disappointment was misplaced, because I was not appreciating that full circle can come in different forms. So in my head, just to share briefly, I thought he would go back home. So the ending. So he would go back home, and so the grandmother is obviously a very substantial part of his journey, and the influence is undeniable, having raised him, etc., the things that she taught him. And there's a lot that I think could have gone wrong in his life, or he would have been greatly misguided if not for the grandmother being there and being hands-on and present, right? And so I don't know, in my mind and in my head, I was like, oh, surely then the proper full circle is him getting back to his home, to the grandmother, and whatever the celebration looks like at home. But then I was like, no, man, I was being silly after reflecting, because then I started to appreciate that actually there is full circle, in that he grew. We can't deny that he grew. His intuition, his observation, his understanding for things as he made the mistakes, as he fell through the journey, and so some of the things that didn't go right, he was growing, and he was being the better version of himself, and he was being closer and closer to becoming the person that he's supposed to be. And that in itself is full circle. So it's really, I just really want to commend the beauty with which the story was written, that it actually made me question, or it made me have my own ideas of how I saw the ending. I think it speaks to how beautifully the author wrote, so that I was able to be so engaged that I started having my own ideas of how the story should look like. But really just an inspiring and a relatable journey. If you look at the likes of Stumo, I think, yes, that's the name. I think in a lot of our lives, it manifests in a form of partners, where you date the same kind of person in different bodies, and it's just really symbolic of your lack of learning from your past mistakes, and so they keep getting recycled until you learn the lessons and obviously do things differently and make better and different choices. That's when you then start coming across and attracting different kinds of energies, so it's just I enjoyed it very much. This was my first book of this kind in a while. I think for the last 2 years at least, I've just been reading mostly financial literacies, poetry books, yeah, just biographies. So it was, I enjoyed reading this kind of book after, yeah, years of not reading such, and I'm glad I did. So thank you for the recommendation once again, and I look forward to reading the next book. Togozai.
Tozile.
Comment.
About what she said.
Yes.
Okay, no, she said a lot now. I'm trying to pick what she's saying.
She had her own ideas on how it was going to end.
Okay, so I haven't reached the ending yet, so I can't comment about how. But that's an important thing that she spoke about, because she said now she had to reflect, because books, they teach us about ourselves, even if it's fiction. Your expectations, your the characters that you enjoy, that you most what's the word I'm looking for, that you relate with, it says a lot about you, you know. So yeah, like even if it's fiction, you can always learn a lot about yourself. Where are you in life? What are you struggling with? Yeah, that's all I can say. Yes.
Thank you, Gogo. And we also just take the task of reading differently.
Yes.
We don't approach reads in the same way, even as a people. And what I like about reading and then sharing with others, reading the same book and with others and sharing, is that you are reading also with just intention. So in your head, you're already you're looking for the key takeaways, because sometimes you just read because you're bored, and so it does force you to read in a different way. You find that your reading it changes when you're reading with others than when you are reading with yourself, and then you take that on to even the books that you're reading for yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
You know? I thank you so much, Gogo, because with each one of us, we're all highlighting different things, and it's like, oh yes, oh yes. Some things you may not even have thought of. They may not even come to you, and it's like, oh my God, this is how. And then you go back to the book in your head. Oh, yes. Oh yes, it's Dumo, when Dumo was that. You know. Thank you so much, Gogo. Let's go to Ulerato. Thank you.
Once again, I actually didn't get a chance to find the book. I actually found the book now as we were talking online. But I wanted to just share something that I picked up.
Okay.
About Mandla. So I'm more fixated on Mandla right now, and I want to know more about his journey, because I feel like I'm also still on my own. So I just found the part where they were talking about a woman who came to Logwaja after a dog bite. And they sent Mandla to go and find a plant to help her because she was swollen and everything. So they gave her the medicine, and after giving her the medicine, they then said, Logwaja then said, well, they must leave her to sleep because she had been running around the yard and, I don't know, just acting so, like she had lost her mind. So then she said, it's fine, leave her to sleep, because at the end of the day, she would have been dead tomorrow, whether she came here or not. We can only wait, resulting to what happens with the medicine. So I only got that far, but it got me thinking. I started using St. Pedro currently now. And when somebody recommended it to me, I had my own ideas about the medicine. And I believe sometimes that medicine helps because I've seen it when I'm helping people sometimes. And so when I got the St. Pedro, I was also like, no, whatever's being said about the medicine is not true. Because I think I got it in the first week or the second week. I was already calling the person that sold me the St. Pedro, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm starting to see things that I don't understand. So I don't know. I just wanted to understand what is supposed to be the symptoms. And I think the guy was just laughing at me, but then he took me through the whole thing again, and he just said to me, be patient. So for me, it's talking about medicine, and how if you don't believe in something, definitely it's not going to work, And I see here, Mandla, after the lady was cured, Mandla was so happy because, he's like, okay, so, medicine actually works. So sometimes I also have that thing where I would have to assist someone with the problem, but when I get the medicine, and you know how it is when you're helping someone, the person is going to take it the same way that I took the San Pedro, and after 14 days, I'm like, but nothing is happening. If anything else, everything is going wrong. So it made me realize that, you know what, when it comes to muti, any kind of muti, as long as you don't believe it when it's in your hands, then it's definitely not going to cure the next person. So, but I'm going to do more reading on it, and yeah, thank you. But I'm interested.
Thank you, Gogo. Thank you for actually bringing up that part, Nje. Yeah, the healing experience.
Yeah.
Also, when I read that part, what came up for me was how as a healer, how we also don't want people that are physically ill in your space. We are so much more comfortable with spiritual illnesses, and but we're called to heal mind, body, soul, and spirit, you know, and that is the need for healers need to actually get into that space. Even you may be, our gifts are different, like we pointed out, but as a healer, you need to learn medicine. You need to be able to heal both mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that is actually a responsibility that we actually shy away from. When it comes to the body, we have been so taught to go to the hospital. We are also so reliant on Western medicine, and it's been that fixing that relationship between the Western and the what they call alternative or the traditional for us. It's just working in that and finding our space and our comfort in that space is actually really important. Like a person sick like that, they were okay. She would have died anyway. So there was panic or this is where they are going to die. This is a healer's home.
Yeah.
And it's not like you killed the person came here. But it's how now do we work, because we are also working within the confines of laws and regulations. We need to be able, the national laws, we need to be able to find our space within it and how it is that we actually work. It's a whole space that we actually need to, we can't even discuss it as part of a book, but we also need to get into that space. I would like for us to actually have a discussion on that specifically. Togozai.
Baba, I think she also spoke of something quite interesting, expectations. Yeah, like you think that you have your own idea that if I take this medicine, it has to work this way. If I initiate, I must have this results. But what if the initiation, the medicine is working, it's just not the way in which you expected it to work, you know? Yeah, I think that's also what kills us sometimes, you know, like you think something didn't work because it should have unfolded in a particular manner. But if you had sat with it, if you had been present, maybe like the unfolding that you were expecting or how it unfolds is what you need rather than what you expected it to unfold like. Yeah, so I think that's very important what she said.
And that is actually true, because people when they come by the patient, they all have their own things.
Yeah.
People that have lost work, they are looking for work, and did I do the losing stuff? They're going to give me an even better job than the one that I left, or the one that I lost. If I am sick, I'm going to be healed. I'm not a healer in this way. If I'm wanting to have a child, this is what's going to happen. Or if I have a sick child, my child will be healed. Or ekaya, the situation is going to change in this way. And it's not just in how we want to see it, it's also in how soon we want to see it. And so expectations are a big thing, and then we miss out on the real thing because we are unable to see it as healing because it is not showing up in the way that we want it to show up. Thank you so much, Gogo, for pointing that out. Gogo's wearing a beautiful lipstick color, guys. Togozani.
I have a lingering thought, yes. Can you just, before me kind of so should I say that? This is just me. Maybe you guys can, I don't know. So there's a part where okay, how Dumo got to be in that Epichlin Napan. And you show one of the initiates wathi ubone a wizard through a consultation, and then ugogo wayethatha a mirror, and then that wizard was reflecting on the mirror, and then they shattered that mirror.
Oh my God.
You remember that part?
Oh, no. Sorry. It's a dream that I had that's just come back. Thank you.
Okay. So when they shattered that mirror, amandla wa that wizard waphela immediately. So that wizard came lapana at that home, and then came to apologize. Say, I'm sorry I did this, but I have a son, ebengicela ukuthi nimthwasise, which was Usdu, and then he came through there. But now I would like to think ukuthi lapho kulelo phehlo leyo it's a holy space, right? It's a good environment. La umuntu would not even think of witchcraft. But still, Ustumo did not change, even when he was there and under the guidance of this good woman who's trying to make him see the right way. This heart of yours that you have, it's not alright, you know. So my thing is, do people change, like, or uba yilento yiyo, regardless of the kind of teachings you get along the way? Because I'm thinking, if you are in a space where you are supposed to be growing in that space, why are you not changing? Why won't be right? But you are still stuck on the evilness that you caught, maybe because Ubabako was a witch, whatever, but you are not evolving. Is it because you are like that? Or you can grow as a person and change?
Lungi, Gogo, it's your turn to respond to Gogo.
Does it make sense though?
Because I think it's either one. Okay, how do I put this? It can either be nature or nurture. If it's nature, it cannot be changed. If it's nurture, the same way you were able to learn evil, you can learn love, and it can change. So it depends on whether the trait, is it an inherent trait or is it a learned trait. So I do believe people can change. People can have it in them to change if it is a nurture-based character. But if it is a nature-based character, I don't think that can change.
Okay. Do you think Ustumo, it's in his nature to just be? There's no way of changing.
You will trust sister. When you have trust sister,
so you can
then you will know.
but utelana ukuthi utomthwasisa, and you know we are born ukuthi le iyohamba wrong.
And you can't change it.
It's also not your responsibility. It's also not your responsibility. So it was not Stumo's Gogo's responsibility to change Stumo. Her responsibility is to initiate it and then what she's supposed to do. What she is in her power to do, which is nature, whatever gift and whatever else that needs to be nurtured in this doom. But you can't change anybody's nature. The people will walk in, you do what needs to be done, and they get what they need to do. And also, it's not your responsibility when it has nothing to do with you. And that is why also when we are in the space, we say that we have lessons for kunema lessons at Ntwaso, kunema lessons at Sangoma. You're not going to teach Ntwaso at Sangoma because they don't have that they don't have nothing holds them to that responsibility at that point. So now that is a different space now that we're talking about. So Sangoma now you are empowering Isangoma. At one point, this is a person that you're empowering to get to the point where they become Isangoma. And then now, Sangoma, now you are giving them Sangoma lessons. And a lot of the time, if amadlozi wakho asebenza kahle batohamba labantu ungabaniki into Sangoma. Because they believe.
No, please speak in English.
Sorry, those people believe that are not supposed to learn Sangoma stuff. those are people that mabaqeda ukuphuza bayaphalaza bathi sengizangoma and
Okay, yes.
and some way they feel cheated and because they didn't learn the things that they needed to go and do the things that they want to do. But that is sangoma lessons.
Okay.
And they may not be able to hold them with the grace in which your space wants them to hold them. So they will leave. Because the madlozi wakho are also ayadi ukuthi kuhamba kanjani. Do you understand? Or spirit knows. So they will leave and they will go and learn buthakathi because that is what they had come for.
Yeah.
Some people will stay but ofunza kulapha. Also, they stay on for that now for you to now nurture that part of the next step of their lives. But a lot of people normally will leave Ntwaso with my lessons and Ntwaso.
Or they weren't patient enough to go.
Yes, because in that time, you're not patient enough. In also that time, what you are being prepared for is you were prepping your body, your mind, and spirit to be able to get to the point of okay, saying sangoma. Now mausu sangoma again. Now that's when now you're supposed to learn the things to hear. Now we are sharing those lessons. Now it's a different point altogether.
They want to jump.
And then Nokubang Gobela, it's something else altogether. You're not going to teach us Sangoma. It has nothing to do with you, you know. So a lot of people never even understand that there's first year, it's level. Year 1, year 2, year 3. At this point, I'm a level 1 birth doula at this point. There's level 2 and there's level 3. It means I can still get into a space with you, and assist, but there's things that I cannot do because this is where I'm at. You know? Thokozani. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for reading the book. Thank you for sharing your takeaways from the book. And naming down but our next book is Homecoming, right? What is our next book?
Because we already have Homecoming. Yeah.
Homecoming.
Yeah, because
Exclusive books.
yeah.
It's available.
Yeah.
Homecoming at Tolaga.
Yeah.
It is Homecoming.
Yes.
Thank you for a beautiful meeting. I love the intimacy.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. And let's aim to actually get together for the next one.
Yes.
Yeah. Except for you, Lungi. We understand you are far, but we can't wait for you to join us.
Yes, I'll see you all in July.
Thokozile. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thokozile.
Love and light until the next one, guys. Hang on to ubuhle. Hang on to that. Thank you so much.
So we'll discuss the next date on the video.
Bye.
Yes.